Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. You can text us on 81215, or you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on Absolute, or the real Ashley Cole. Also, you can, if you want to put anything on there. So, yeah, here we are.
We've already had an email from some people who listen every Saturday in Thailand. That's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, I love our Thai fraternity.
Oh dear.
Is that possible to listen? What time would it be in Thailand? Any ideas?
Well, they are listening.
I think they stream it, maybe. They're saying sat in the sun in Thailand.
How lovely.
And there's other stuff. They're expecting a monsoon, and then he's emailed again a minute later and saying, oh, the monsoon started.
Sitting waiting for a senorita to show. Do you remember that? Demise Roussos?
It's extraordinary.
Guitars playing melodies from Spain and Mexico. Demise, come off. Oh, just come on. What do you mean, come off? That's what he talked like. Do you remember Demise Roussos?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised to hear it was a he.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, his beard and
I was
everything.
a big
Beard,
fan.
kaftan, but sang in an incredibly high voice.
And it was Demise.
Guitars playing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that's sorted out the week from the chat as far as the listeners are concerned. Anyone who wasn't sure about listening will have gone by now.
Good to get that filter process in early.
Exactly. I put in the Demise Roussos scarecrow.
We've just got the absolute purists now.
Exactly. Absolute Purist is our new station. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're bringing it out. We're not quite sure what we're going to play on it. Speaking of aftershave, my segues, they're not as good as they used to be, are they?
No.
I might go back to a moped.
You know Pippi Schofield with the gear changes?
No, you're quite right. I was looking through my bathroom.
Oh, God.
I was right in the back of the cupboard.
Yeah.
Right past the the little hotel bottles and the magazine sachets.
Yeah.
Right past there.
And the emery boards.
Right past there. That body shaver that they sent me free, that was still in the packet. And I found some some vintage aftershave. No, I've always been a bit of an anti-aftershave man.
You're not big on smellies, are you?
No, not at
I
all.
was having a memory of you saying on this very show, people should smell how they smell.
Yes, I agree with that.
So I'm surprised.
Well, there are
by
people
this.
on telly you look at, you can almost smell the aftershave.
More thoughts
absolutely,
from
yeah,
the Pilgrim
definitely.
Fathers later. Right, I'm sorry. I think there's... What's Daisy doing?
Just moving my
I
microphone.
think it's perfectly fine to enhance your natural odour.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it alright if it's stuff from the 70s?
Oh, what are we talking here?
Well, Old Spice I wore on Tuesday.
I
Wowzer.
have to say, I think that's actually... You'll be surprised to hear this, but I think you're on trend.
Really?
I've-
Is it back?
I've got a bottle of Old Spice recently. I think it's back.
Can I say, by
What
the
more
way-
evidence do you need?
Can I
The
just point
Cockerel's
out-
got a bottle.
If there's anyone listening from Old Spice, don't send me any. This will last me... Well, I would say the size of the bottle. I'm of an age now where I can look at a bottle and think that will last me the rest of my life. So don't bother. Anyway, I put that on. I'll tell you what I forgot.
you?
Yeah. So I was doing a TV show, and I thought, no, I'll put a bit of Old Spice. My dad used to use Old Spice, so it was a bit of a nostalgia. Mind you, he also used to just put his fingers in the butter bowl and put that on his hair.
Oh.
Yeah. He was a man who used his natural environment, my dad. He was like a plane crash survivor, eating squirrels and living on berries. Yeah, so he'd look in the mirror, just finger in the butter bowl and straight on.
I used to live with a bloke who had very curly hair, and he put olive oil in there. Is that common?
Yes, we were staying with some family friends in Glasgow and the dad put the comb in the chip fat. That's true.
That just
I think
could be
that was quite
classed
common.
I'm just amazed that you knew anyone who had chip fat. Let alone that it's gone that far down there.
So Old Spice, Frank. So is it just the Old Spice?
Well, no, I started with that was Tuesday, and something I
High
forgot.
karate, Wednesday.
No, I didn't have any high karate.
Oh.
I'm still pre-links.
Right.
No, I didn't have any links. I'll get round to it. So what I'd forgotten is with your old aftershaves, it's not like your modern day smellies. They're like soothing balms and stuff like that. But the old one, you put it on and it's very rare one does any grooming accompanied by the sound. And the second time I put aftershave on this week, the hands went towards the throat and I hesitated. I slightly lost my nerve. I'd forgotten it's quite, I believe the word is astringent.
Is it?
Yeah, it was, it's very, very male.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Yes, we were talking about aftershaves. So that was Tuesday.
Can I just say, Frank, you need to be given your propers, because we've had a text in from Steve who says, Segway moped, I was crying.
I see, that was a joke that I thought had gone, fallen on stony ground. But I can do a joke in here and no one even hears it. And I just carry on. I think it's okay, but somewhere out there, there's always a listener who thinks,
there's a Steve.
Yeah.
There's a Steve for
Good
every
on you,
joke.
Steve. You've dragged my morning back from the mire.
He doesn't say whether he found it funny. He just says, I was crying, to be fair.
Perhaps I interrupted him. He was already crying. Oh, that's terrible. I suppose if he broke off from crying for a second. I think we've all cried on Saturday
To appreciate
mornings.
some
haven't we?
wordplay.
Frank, can we go back to your ablutions?
Yeah, so on Thursday, because I did some. I don't like to talk about my other work.
You've had a lot of TV work on, though. Let's be honest.
So Tuesday I was Allspice, and and it was that
I haven't
bottle.
seen that show of yours.
You know that bottle where you it's
Which one is that?
it's me interviewing Jerry Halliwell.
There we go.
And he's done it.
Yeah, I've done the Allspice joke and relax. Okay, we're through it.
If you enjoyed that, text in on 81250. No.
Yeah, and then on Thursday I went for Brute.
Oh, Frank, Route 33 on the 25th.
Well, no, it wasn't 33.
That's what the ad campaign said.
I know, but 33. I don't know if you're aware of this, but first of all, there was Brute, or Henry.
Is it pre-33?
Yeah, Henry Cooper used to. The great smell of Brute, he used to say.
I love that.
And then they bought out Brute 33 as a cheaper version of Brute.
Oh.
And they advertised, it was called 33, because, get this, the reason it was cheaper as well, is it had a third of the fragrance of the original.
Wow.
And I like the idea, an old working class scene. I'm sorry, Mary, but times are hard now. I'm afraid I've lost job at mill. We're all going to have to smell a little bit less nice than we used to. I say a little bit, 2/3 less nice than we used to in order to save funds. Yeah, so they made it cheaper and less nice. They could have called it Brute Less Nice.
Yeah. But
Anyway,
instead,
but
30. Well, that would have been quite 70s ad campaign, because they were quite basic, the ad campaigns then.
Well, the ad campaign for Brute, I looked this up. The original slogan was "The essence of man," which I like. I like the idea of that.
Yeah, I've experienced.
Fine line between that and BO, though, innit? It feels like.
Oh, God.
It sounds
What's
like
wrong with
smelly
you?
man.
Oh, I was thinking
wrong
like
with you?
Neil Armstrong could have.
Oh, right,
He could have snuck it in when he put his foot on the moon. If he could have, people weren't so sponsorship aware in those days.
No.
I like those old
like a snooker
fragrances, though. That little whiff of nostalgia. Mm-hmm. It just takes you back. I remember our butcher used to wear that, Brute 33, when he'd come round to the house.
Really, I haven't. I've still got, because we're recording next week, I've still got Blue Stratos.
I've never even heard of that.
No, well, that's Tuesday's already lined up. Howard Winston. Is that his name? Ray Winston.
Oh, yeah.
Howard Winston was a boxer. Ray Winston's a man, I imagine, got a bit of aftershave.
Oh,
on him.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Frank, 527 says Del Winton looks like an aftershave kind of bloke.
Yeah, but he's just masking something. I'm on about someone who's wearing it as a... Mitt Romney.
I think he's fairly open, to be fair.
Mitt Romney. And Max Clifford.
Oh, reeking.
yeah.
You wouldn't be
A
able to
reeker.
you couldn't breathe within 10 yards of max. That's my theory.
Davidoff.
Actually, I'd like the. What about this for a text in? Who do you think, just from seeing on telly, smells of aftershave?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, our listeners have been texting in, I'm going to use the word droves, because we've had such a big response to who on TV looks like they might smell of aftershave. It's extraordinary. We have
Turns out that's the question they've been waiting to be asked all these years.
Ben in Birmingham, Peter Stringfellow, spicy yet floral.
We've also
I
had...
think they did actually say what they smelled of.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They've upped it.
I bet Timothy Dalton smells of leather and wealth from Ben the plumber.
Less wealth than he used to smell.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Timothy Dalton. I
Who
haven't seen him
knows?
for
Who knows what
ages.
he's done?
Extraordinary reference. 109, David Dickinson, Paco Rabanne.
What is it?
Paco
I
Rabanne.
don't know what that is.
Paco Rabanne's a scent.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a
another
certain
scent.
type of
When
man.
I'm doing my documentary series, Frankincense, exploring these things. Paco
this-
Rabanne.
You rummaging at the back could be the perfect starting scene for
could.
Frank and Sense.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It could. I tell you that
Ka-ching.
the Blue Stratos is as yet uncorked. I don't know what that could smell of anything.
I hope it hasn't corked.
Can it do that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's slightly necked from me having used.
Frank Karen says, Frank, I reckon Vernon Kay reeks of Lynx. Is
Yes.
what Karen thinks.
That's basically calling him immature, though, isn't it? I mean, that is
Yeah.
sort of saying he's a bit teenage boy-like.
Is he?
I think so. No, I mean, I think that's what she's saying. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I don't know if...
Is Link still available?
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so.
Widely. Widely.
So.
Okay.
It's a long time since you've perused the aisles of a chemist. I've actually bought an Old Spice deodorant because I like the aftershave, and I realised I've got a couple of roll-on deodorants that I had the eau de toilette of. Do you know what I mean? The same scent, matching.
Yeah, I've
And,
never worked out the difference between an eau de toilette and a aftershave.
And an eau de parfum.
Well, we talked about it, and Emily told me that it it just smells stronger, the
Yeah.
aftershave.
Oh, you put it in the same place.
There's more essence.
Yeah, well,
yes,
you
you
I
put
was
it in
doing
the
this-
same place. Where do you think you put
The
it?
bathroom cabinet. Is that what you meant?
I'm looking for a weaker version of
the toilet.
of links. I'm looking for the weakest links.
Oh.
I'm terribly sorry, but it was in my head, and if you don't let them out, that'll get a pain in my. Just
I know you
just
do.
just below my ears. Like
It's
what
like
I
the
used to
pain
get-
David Baddiel says he gets when he doesn't when he's not allowed chocolate or something.
If
He
he
says, I
wants-
actually feel ill.
If he wants a dessert, he gets
Yeah.
pain in his jaw.
He goes, no, I have to eat it.
He has to have a dessert, otherwise he's in agony.
Yeah.
Somebody's guessed
Terrible.
Philip Schofield as a... I bet he does have a nice aftershave smell. They've guessed high karate, but I would say something more modern.
I think
For
something
Philip
quite
Schofield.
subtle.
I'm going Kuros.
Chorus.
Frank 722 and Wogan, like earth/soil.
I think that text is about 20 years too early. I'm sure they didn't mean Wigan. Smells of soil. Whatever. Okay, we'll have more. More who wears aftershave, and indeed, what do they smell like?
Frank, can we talk briefly about? I believe he's your old gaffer, and he's got himself into a little bit of trouble this week.
Oh,
Frank Spencer.
No, Roy,
In a bit
Roy.
of trouble.
King Roy.
yes.
Did you see this? He was on the tube. Oh, I mean that's embarrassing enough in itself.
Well, I thought that was
him.
brilliant that Roy Hodgson was on the
Yeah.
tube.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was holding his coat in a sort of old man, I feel uncomfortable being here fashion.
The best thing is that he wasn't sitting down. He was on one of those on the tube. But for those of you who don't live in London, on the tube there's the seats on the tube, but then there's these little sort of half seats that are a bit higher that you sort of. You can sort of, if you don't want to stand up, and it's sort of
Parrot perch, I'm going.
Yeah, they're sort of they're for people with leaning difficulties.
Like a
So,
sort of a bum beam.
Sorry, can
or
we just
something
give
like
that the respect it was due?
They
Frank?
just
That was good.
Carrot perch.
they just
Someone
take
will
the
text.
edge off it, and he's on one of those on the pictures. He's on a
Yeah.
half seat,
Yeah,
almost suggesting the tentative nature of the England manager's job.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he's got the overcoat over the shoulder.
I like that. Though. That's
I
The
like that.
forearm.
Yes.
I thought there might have been a whiff of a fervent blue stratos about it. On some of those pictures. I can imagine Roy going for it. I like Roy partly because he used to manage the team I support and did
Now
rather
you've got
well.
now you've got that bloke, of course.
Yes, we've got that bloke now, but now, he also me and Roy have got very similar throats nowadays. I've noticed.
What do you mean?
I've developed, those sort of as you get older, you develop those sort of collar curtains.
Oh yeah, bit George Lucas. Yeah,
Yeah, a bit.
You haven't got that.
Yeah,
you
I can't. If I won't do it now in case I do anything to my spine. But when I'm at home on my own, I can do a sort of flick. You know, how attractive women flick their hair.
Yes, I do.
I can do that, and with my throat, I can get a sort of a slapping sound. If I get it right, if it's like like somebody going up for a header and getting it actually right, it's like the crack of a whip. The two sides of.
Like a
Music.
cow's dewlap.
Like, yeah, it is. It's like like a dewlap clap.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Phil Mitchell, combination of Brute and Old Spice. Old Brute. That's 969.
What's his real name? Steve
Steve McFadden.
Steve McFadden, of course. So anyway, Roy
We're
Hodgson.
talking about Roy on the tube.
I love the fact that he's on the tube. There's something
Yeah.
fabulously old-fashioned football manager about that.
Then he gets off it and walks through the car park full of Bentleys and Porsches and whatever.
It's brilliant.
Kind of cool, isn't it?
He's become.
Well, you
man of
love
the football.
that, but he didn't. Unfortunately, he made a bit of a gaff. Your old gaffer, didn't he?
He did.
Because what was he was talking about Rio.
He did say after that he was disappointed.
He said, I think that obviously I think his greatest crime was saying of Rio, it's got to be the end of the road, he's pushing 34.
Yes.
Which I found one of the most upsetting things I've ever read in my
but
entire life.
you're not an international central defender.
Well,
And
you say that.
No, don't let anyone tell you you are. I know what men will, they'll bottle you up and tell you this and tell you that.
People will tell you anything.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not. You're just not an international central defender.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But that's what friends are for, to put people right on that.
I didn't think he'd said anything that bad from what I was reading.
I
think
don't
it's
know
just
if
that
you're
he-
supposed to announce your squad on the underground.
You're not meant to do it on the Northern Line, darling.
But didn't he also bring that sort of Roy Hodgson dignity to it of saying, I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't be talking to people on the tube, so if anybody asks me any football questions in the future, my apologies if I seem a bit quiet about it. Like, you can't... It's almost like...
I believe what he actually said was, I'm sorry for having a conversation with a passing punter, which I like.
Yeah. Who's passing on the tube?
But he was attempting to reduce the significance of his crime, I guess.
But I do think there's a sort of a common sense. If you're 34 and you haven't played for England for 2 years, you sort of think, oh, well, it's not like I'm 24.
This
Is it?
I
always
don't think the
happens.
age is relevant, though. Frank Lampard must be around
Age
that.
is relevant to central defenders.
I know, but
of
Frank Lampard's
international-
34.
Look, Emily, age is relevant. Just accept that.
Peter Shilton, he was ancient. Oh, he's a goalkeeper, it doesn't matter, it's different.
Who said that? That was such a good voice. I thought another person.
I thought it was
had
my
come in.
own head.
I thought it was coming in my headphones. Yeah, I thought it was picking up someone who was in early for rock and roll football, and they was
Anyway,
sticking
he
in there
shouldn't-
a penneth.
He shouldn't have done it, Frank.
I'm not sure about that. I
Really?
think the reason the press are giving him so much stick is the people he's supposed to be telling this stuff to is the press. They don't like the idea that he's on public transport talking to the ordinary fan about it. I think, what he's done is he's broken down the walls of democracy and he's stepped into our domain and they don't like it. I think he's a hero.
He's cut out the middleman in a way, isn't there?
Yeah.
The press are worried.
He did say he was disappointed that it had been recorded in this way, and that when he thought about Rio discovering that he wasn't playing in this fashion, he worried he'd be disappointed. If you took the word disappointed out of your average football person's vocabulary, they really would.
Yeah.
They'd have to start saying things like heartbroken. Stuff. Really?
Frank 740. Emily is quite defensive sometimes, though. Oh.
Aye, that's
Very good.
I'm very solid at the back as well.
Yeah, and
it's fair to say.
Yeah, and she does. She dodges the odd urine test between you and me. So,
Frank!
oh, sorry, she wasn't supposed to mention that. Anyway, she is a woman. So,
Oh, thanks. I'm glad we cleared that up.
yeah,
She is a woman.
Caster Semenya at her. Oh, never mind.
See.
Sorry, I've gone very post-Olympic glow.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank,
So,
841 Jason Orange wears yeast extract.
does he?
And Rocky from Reading says Brian Blessed uses Weedol. I don't know what Weedol is. Is
I'm
it some kind of...
imagining it gets rid of
Weeds.
in the undergrowth.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, I didn't need to articulate that. I
Yes.
could have just guessed it in my own head, couldn't I?
Yes, it's a reference to the blessed beard, I think.
I think it probably is. We've had a few people texting in that people with beards don't wear any aftershave.
I thought that was your review of his beard, the blessed beard. I quite like that.
I think they...
Blessed beard.
I thought you were getting a little bit religious.
well, it is. It's a very special anniversary, of course, this week.
What is it?
50 years.
Of...
As the rest of the country celebrates the Bond anniversary,
Yeah.
ours, we're celebrating 50 years since the Second Vatican Council met.
Oh, that's lovely.
My name's 23rd. John the 23rd.
How do you celebrate that? If everyone else is having Bond theme parties, what are you doing? Just sitting about having a council?
We're talking about the major reformations that took place at that time, and whether they've been fully instigated or whether the Conservatives in the church have somehow sought to quash that instigation.
Kathy's loving it.
Yeah.
No,
But I like
it's
Bond as well.
Bond mania. Bond.
Everywhere.
Oh.
Sky have got have you seen Sky have got a new channel called...
Is it just Bond?
It's called Sky 007 HD.
Oh.
It's a lot of letters. Actually, that wouldn't be a bad number plate.
Oh,
Write
yeah.
that down.
It's a bit internet password, that one, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'll stick with that one.
I like
I'm
that
getting
there's
a bit
been...
fed up of password one. I know if
Is that
someone
your-
breaks in...
I've had to change one. I was using Dr. Buck for a while from one of the Fall
Oh,
songs.
was you really?
Yeah.
Were
So I
you?
thought no one would ever guess that. Frank,
That's interesting.
there's some... What
It's
I like...
cold in here, but
Okay,
I've become very clenched, I
I've
realised.
turned up the heating now. Frank, what I like
I've
about all this...
contracted into, like, you know when you get when you take an elastic band off something and it's you can't separate, it goes into a tight. I'm like that.
That's right, I've got the heating under the control.
Okay,
Control.
you leave it alone.
This is the sort of thing we could do during the songs, I'm sure.
I know,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
you're probably right. Talk about it.
No, but
Sure of
Frank,
it.
can we get back to Bond, please?
Okay.
What
Yes.
I like is that there's sort of 1960s gossip coming out as well, very late in the day. Like this woman who was in the original Bond film has been talking. Eunice Gayson, is her name?
Oh yeah, Eunice
She played
Gayson.
Sylvia Trench.
Used to have her on a card. I used to collect James Bond cards,
Oh.
Did you?
which were bubblegum cards, but which were really quite saucy. And it was exciting because I used to go and buy these, and I wouldn't. My parents didn't know there was lots of low cut tops and leggy girls on them, and I was like. I was about 9. I was, oh man, it was the most exciting thing that ever happened. And then they did an expose on That's Life, or whatever it was called.
On the bubblegum cards?
Yeah.
really?
And,
What was the
and
expose?
that it was these very saucy pictures were
Oh,
on
I
children's
see.
cards. And our Nora said that you collect those cards, don't you? Well, of course, I was shamefaced.
I'll bet.
I remember there was a trap.
Oh,
She
they were
set
under
up
your
a trap.
pillow.
The family was there. My mum and dad had Nora, and she said, "So which card do you like best?" And I thought, I know what they're after. So
What did you say,
I
Frank?
picked a nice picture of Odd Job. And they
What,
said,
is there a nice picture of Odd Job?
and then our Nora said, "No, which one with a lady on do you like best?" And I thought, this is leading the witness.
Entrapment.
Yeah, so I went for Honor Blackman in a roll neck sweater. That fooled us.
Smart.
Oh, always wily, Frank. I love
Yes.
that about you. Anyway,
That's what the Roadrunner was saying to me just the other day.
that's what Joe was saying. Sylvia Trench, she was talking about Sean Connery's first day on set. She said he was so nervous he couldn't even say the lines, the name's Bond, James Bond, and he kept saying the name's Sean Bond, James Connery, which I thought was awful.
Do you believe that?
I do not believe this.
Don't you?
These people, they try to insert themselves in history,
Yeah.
don't they? And I said to Martin Luther King, why don't you tell people about that dream? I think it's quite interesting. You know what I mean? I don't believe that for a second.
She claims that the director then suggested he went to have a drink. Sean Connery. He should go and have a drink to...
I read about this, and even then she said, so I took him to a bar and said, I think you need to have it. It's all me. No.
Yeah.
You turned up, you did a bit of acting, you went home.
And if...
Do you know what? Frank's still angry about the card that he was forced to relinquish.
That thing about an actor, surely, one thing they'd be able to handle is, I tell you what, when I'm doing acting, I'm not called my normal name. I sometimes have to adopt the name of the character.
It's like day one of acting school, isn't it? You know, I went, and they say to you, you know, when you're acting, you're probably going to need a different name.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the things you can grab straight away.
Fair enough,
with
yeah.
the old acting.
Yeah, I don't.
But
believe-
I think...
Do you remember the original series of Hawaii Five-O?
Yes.
You used to have a picture of that big Hawaiian bloke, the bodyguard. You used to have the names. It'd say, like, Steve... It'd say Jack Lord as Steve McGarrett and blah, blah. And then he used to come and used to say Zulu as Kono. And I used to always think, why bother changing that? But of course, I realised that Hawaiians were probably watching it and thinking, Steve McGarrett as Jack Lord, or Jack Lord as Steve McGarrett. Why bother? What's the difference?
It should have just been Zulu as himself. I love an as himself.
Zulu was... Oh, I love an as him. I've been an as himself.
And as himself, that's the best one ever.
Yes, I've... Ship's Cat, Basil Brush, that's my favourite credit ever.
But Frank...
Man in Marquee, Wilfred Hyde White. Sorry, carry on.
Angry Child. I'm sure I was that once.
Oh, yeah.
Jason the Asthmatic.
Yes, we know about that.
Yeah, don't bring that up.
Yeah.
All right.
It was no
like I
Triffids.
keep banging on about it.
You do, it's Jason the Asthmatic.
kind
this,
of do.
Jason the Asthmatic.
Kind of do every show.
Keep wheezing on about it.
But they did a poll to talk, and they were trying to discover who everyone's. They often do this. Who's your favourite Bond?
Why don't we save this for after
okay,
the
okay.
break? Because I think it's quite a big chat, your favourite Bond. I think there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grey areas. There is now.
I like James Connery.
Yeah, James Connery. I like Zulu as Kono.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
You know, we were talking about the old...
Red Hot Chili Peppers in the house.
No, I was thinking that Johnny Cash one. What the line starts there.
I just assumed that an hour into the show you were doing a little physical and vocal warm-up.
Yeah. Perhaps that's what Johnny Cash is doing. Thinks, I don't want to go straight into this. I keep... Anyway.
Do you think if they started the recording like 10 seconds earlier, he'd be going, Papa's got a head like a ping-pong ball, Papa's like a
I hope so.
like a ping, like a ping-pong ball.
Boss says that all the time, and I'm starting to wonder if he means it.
You know, we were talking about the James Bonds. We've had a text in, what time is Sean Connery going to Wimbledon? 10ish.
See, that's my kind of gag.
That's a good gag.
Yeah, that's
my
also
kind of gag.
It's such a
also
good-
Cannon and Balls kind of gag.
It's such a good
does
gag.
that
It
make
makes
it
me
bad?
wonder that somebody's texted in a Tim Vine joke or something like that. Maybe it is.
Oh, yeah, that's a worry.
It is a worry, but let's look for the positive in 753 and hope that they've
But what's
just made
good
it.
about it, wasn't Sean Connery actually at the US Open that was
Yes,
won
he
by
was.
Andy Morris?
Yeah, but he was all wrapped up in a blanket, which I found a
He
bit
was very
depressing.
wrapped up,
Yeah, and
Wasn't it the
including
Queen at the Jubilee
over
concert?
his face as well.
Yeah.
And he was like strapped on that trolley thing. I wonder if they're keeping something quiet about him.
He's got a bit of a Hulk Hogan thing. Oh, I shouldn't mention him today, but going on with the hair as well.
Hulk Hogan, in case I'm not suggesting for a second that you watch his video, but pictures of him in the paper with a blonde moustache and a black beard is one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's like some sort of wild creature emerging from his collar.
Can we just say that perhaps we should say people shouldn't watch his video because if we don't intimate that it's adult content, then they might think,
No,
oh
it
yeah,
is.
I'll watch that. He
No,
might be
no,
falling
don't.
off a skateboard or
No,
something.
don't
like
watch it.
No, it's Silly Billies on that video.
Silly Billies.
Frank,
Back
can
to-
we get back to Bond? Because
Back to Bond.
this a poll they did this week. Sean Connery has come out on top. Everyone
He
says-
always wins.
Yeah.
He always does. Daniel Craig was third. No, he was second. I do
Second.
apologise. But third was Pierce Brosnan. Now, I was shocked because there's a glaring omission to me.
There is,
here,
yeah, there's a-
and he's my favourite. And I don't know how you two feel, but it's Roger, I have to say, is mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he yours?
I love Roger Moore.
Oh, good
I
boy.
don't know why he gets that stick for his Bondness.
No one
'Cause what
rocks
he
a
does,
safari suit like him.
He's a bit comical and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then the moments when it's almost like he's been playing the part of a buffoon in the film. But when it comes down to it, and he's got a bit of dirt on his face and a black roll neck sweater, and he's maybe climbing onto a submarine, then you see the real man.
And the handsomeness of the face.
Daniel
Yeah.
Craig's little swimming trunks got sold last night. Did you know that?
Glad that was the end of that sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For about 45, I don't know if you listen to the news when Tanya reads it out.
Yes.
But,
I do.
about 45 grand they went for. And unwashed, it said. Now, as you know, Daniel Craig poached my clean. So it sounds like the whole thing's exploded in his face, because he must have wore them in Casino Royale, 7 or 8 years ago? They've been in the basket all
I
that
love
time.
that you can't let the anger go towards Daniel Craig.
Anyway, I agree. I think Roger Moore is sadly underestimated. He also made me... well, there's great things about it. Oh, God, he's just appeared on the telly.
Oh, lovely. Oh, too much blusher, Rog.
Tablets in my... no, I'm all right.
Go on.
No, I went to see him live.
Roger
You know,
Moore.
he does a touring show where he talks about being Roger Moore.
Oh, does he? Does he sit on a
really?
sort of Dave Allen stool? I like the sound of this.
Yeah, and no, I think it's been cleaned.
Oh.
And he told the story when I saw him. I saw him in Cheltenham, and he was on about David Niven. You're aware of David Niven, the actor. When he died, he went to the house of David Niven, and he said David Niven's wife was there, and she was outside. The press was outside. There's lots of flashing cameras, and Roger Moore arrived, and the wife came out and was screaming and shouting at. He said she was, she'd been drinking, and she was shouting at me and saying, he never liked you and all this kind of stuff. He said, and I said to her, "Get inside, or I'll kill you." And I don't know about you, but I'm a bit more sort of tentative around the bereaved. Generally, I couldn't quite believe it.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I saw some great black and white pictures of Roger Moore sort of on location when he was playing Bond.
Oh, yeah.
When they had a break in the filming, him and Cobby Broccoli used to play backgammon.
Really?
I mean, God, people don't do that anymore, do they?
No.
I've never done it.
Fabulous, glamorous times.
I bet Rog didn't use alcohol as a performance crutch. That's not his style.
No, but I bet he used Brute.
Yes, I do.
Brute
Frank.
force.
Yeah, no, Brute aftershave.
Oh, I
because
see.
if I remember rightly, in Live and Let Die,
Oh,
do
my
you
favourite.
remember when he's smoking a cigar and he suddenly he fires like an aerosol or something like
Yes.
that? I believe that is Brute that he uses.
Wow.
The whole circular discussion this morning, I think it was T.S. Eliot who suggested that in my end is my beginning.
Was it?
Absolute Radio here.
Absolute T.S. Eliot.
Can we just quickly establish, by the way, are you Roger, by the way?
Am I
Cockerel?
Roger?
Yeah.
No.
Do you, Roger Moore?
No, you're not. That's not your favourite Bond.
No, Sean Connery.
Oh, God.
I mean, I like Roger Moore, but to be honest, I'm not one of these people that's mad about Bond. It's fine.
Oh, God.
It's fine. I like them if they're on at Christmas, but if they never made another one, I wouldn't care. I just
We don't
find
need
it-
you.
I
We
find it
don't need
weird.
your type at the moment.
I'm not a
wouldn't
massive.
care.
I wouldn't care.
care.
I've read a couple of the novels as well. Much better than you might think.
Oh no, I would expect them to be good. Yeah, but I just
Connery like
I mean, imagine
a
people
glass
saying, "Oh,
collector in a Glasgow pub."
do you want to come to my James Bond theme party?" Oh no.
One thing I don't
well.
like, Frank, is why does James Bond... I don't like that he has that old man car, sort of Coronation Street car, whatever it is, Aston Martin. It's horrible. Old-fashioned
That's
car.
class. I don't
No,
think
it's like
it's
Coronation
design class.
Street. It's
Anyway.
horrible.
I don't
Anyway,
think there's Aston
I tell
Martins
you-
on Coronation
I'll
Street.
tell you where we're going now. Do you know where we're going now?
As Astrid Martin was a character on there.
They look like Coronation Street cars. We're going now, Frank.
Yes.
Over to Email Corner.
Oh, well, hold on. I need
No.
to get. Can you two just make
Should we talk
witty
amongst
banter?
ourselves?
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got there.
Oh, well
Can I
done.
just throw this in first?
Yeah. Oh,
It's good, isn't it?
he cried.
I'm playing this live, by the way. If anyone's,
This is for Buzz. He cried when he saw me this week.
I'm playing it on the Coleman paper. Do people still play the Coleman paper?
No.
Okay. Thought I'd chuck in a harmony there. It's a bit of a Kenny Everett moment. Did you watch the drama about Kenny
No,
Everett?
I didn't.
Rubbish. I think people need to establish that there's a thing called acting and there's a thing called doing an impression. So if you put like Sir Richard Burton on one side and John Coleshaw on the other, they're not in the same line of business. Okay, just a little tip there for the makers of those true life dramas.
Oh, I love
Although
Frank.
I've done my little Frank Spencer today, so there's a BBC Four.
I did a Denise Van Outen earlier.
You did, yeah.
But we're not tied to it.
No, exactly. We're
There's
versatile.
more to us. Okay.
I did what an entire link as Denise Welsh and no one even noticed.
Sean Connery, do you like DIY? Yes, I do it myself.
Oh, God.
Somebody's just texting in Sean Connery jokes now.
Yes.
I don't know why that would have happened.
Oh, I hope it's Roger.
It makes you wonder.
They said afterwards, I will kill you.
Roger on his phone with big buttons.
It makes you... was that the bloke he was in pantomime with? It makes you wonder if his real name is Sean Connery.
Very good.
Yeah?
Can we stop
And
these
relax.
now? So unfemale.
Anyway,
these
we're in
jokes.
email corner. We haven't read an
Yeah.
email out yet.
Okay, I'm trying to, but you keep doing these male puns. Okay, let's kick off. Dear Frank, Alan and Emily, in response to Alan's comments about joggers listening to the podcast, that's not a euphemism, they're actually joggers. I live in the beaches area of Toronto,
Lovely.
a large conurbation in the southeast of Ontario,
Ah, yes.
and listen to the podcast every day while cycling to work, all the while laughing out loud and having a wonderful link to Blighty. I must say,
Is Blighty on this week?
it's a very informative show, and my recent Google history since tuning tells its own story. Proust, the Montgolfier brothers, Albert Pierpoint,
Fabulous.
Wittgenstein.
We're like an advent calendar to intellectualism. You open the little door, go into Google, and there the whole world opens up.
W.H. Auden and The Fall, to name but a few.
Blimey.
Anyway, I can't do a night's move on Emily, as the fiancé and kids would probably object. Wrong way round. But you are all welcome on to Toronto. I'd be glad to show you around. That's Matt in Toronto.
We get a lot of internationals, don't we? We should start like a world news section when we do world news, which is like the worst part of the news.
Oh, I hate that bit.
The
little
You know, when
blow.
you're abroad and you get BBC World News, and you think, oh no, it's going to be some people setting fire to a not very good effigy. You know, the effigies in the Middle East, that's where the money is. If you opened a nice effigy shop in the Middle East, I mean, in the age of the colour printer, there's no excuse for it. They look nothing like them.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're still in email corner. I won't bother playing it again because we never left. That, the guy from Toronto, what's his name, sorry?
Matt in Toronto,
Matt in
brackets
Toronto.
formerly of South London.
Last time I was in Toronto, it's a
Yes.
good title for a good opening to any
Yeah.
sentence. I watched Blade Runner, the director's cut, on a big screen in the city square.
Oh, did
Really?
you?
which was brilliant for Blade Runner because there's like, obviously aeroplanes and that were going past and all that. It was like the films that started to bleed into reality.
Wow.
What's the volume
good.
situation with that, though?
It was good volume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw.
This isn't a drive-through. You just sit there outside.
Just sitting. I like an outdoor film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's one of my favourite things. I went to Melbourne Arboretum,
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mel B.
and there's a lot of bats in there. And it'd be great. That's what I call her, Melbourne Arboretum. It's a little sort of pet name we have. There was bats, and I thought, if only this was a Batman film, this would be the most brilliant thing. Watching it live and the actual
Frank,
bats.
that'd be good.
Oh man, somebody should have thought that through. If there'd been fish in there, then obviously From Here to Eternity would have been fine for the big love scene. But then again, I saw Master and Commander on the beach at Brighton, and
How many outdoor... Do you ever see films indoors?
I just love an outdoor film, and I went there. And the trouble is with doing them over here, it's that time that they didn't want to start too late 'cause it gets cold. So it was a bit bright, really, for a film.
Oh, really?
It was like watching a watermark. It was a very vague sense of something moving about on the screen, but
That's the
didn't.
point. What if it rains on an outdoor film? Do you just...
Then everything is ruined.
Oh, okay.
That's
I have
the rub.
got that ability to ask the question that leads to everything is ruined.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, if we're in email corner, I could read an email.
Go on, do
seems
it.
like it's appropriate, doesn't it? Hi, Frank the Cockerel and Emily. I really hope this makes email corner, as I wanted to let you know that I'm not your average listener. No, I'm not wearing a black band tee. Now let me cut to the chase.
Oh, cut to the Lorraine.
That's a T-shirt of a black band. No, a black T-shirt of a band. Anyway,
Is this an
we've got that.
anagram of a link we have to put together later?
I'm a young lady working in the fashion industry.
Alan, you aren't.
No.
Brackets designer.
What's happened?
Like Emily. I love Emily's
Oh,
fabulously
this lady is a
scathing-
fashion designer.
Yeah, you knew that I was reading an email, didn't you?
Yeah,
Oh, you were
I-
taking it at face
I
value.
thought you were trying to invent a sort of David Williams catchphrase.
I love Emily's fabulously scathing comments in Fashion Corner.
Oh.
I cannot describe my utter loathing for the bootcut too.
Another anti-boot.
A bootcut hater.
I'm with it. I'd like to pass my deets on to the wonderful Emily.
Oh.
If she ever wants to share industry info, then I'm the girl for the job. A Fashion Corner Knights move, if you will. You're faithfully Melinda, not Messenger, 076.
I have to
that's
say,
cute, Linda.
That's nice, isn't it? That the ladies are bonding.
And nice to know I've got appeal across the sexes.
yeah. Well, the boot cut thing though. There is an only alternative. If you've got boots, you can go boot cut.
Oh,
Or-
can you, oh fashion guru?
You can.
Thank you.
There's a
But-
logic. There's a
no,
logic
but you
there.
can go what I would think is going into the outskirts of town as far as fashion is concerned.
Okay.
And that's
Hit
the
me.
blokes who tuck them in.
Oh, yeah.
no.
Now, I think,
Outskirts of town. I mean, that's like Billy Ray Cyrus.
can you imagine me turning up here one day and I've got boots and I've tucked my trousers
No,
in?
I feel ill even
No,
thinking about it.
exactly.
I like the idea you might turn up in Uggs with the jeans tucked
I
in.
like the idea of turning up in a sort of Ugg bodysuit that zips at the neck. Oh, how cosy would that be?
What happens in the
You've got a few
central
onesies,
section?
haven't you?
I have to say, the other day I was looking at a lovely fashion drawing of Anne Hathaway's Valentino dress.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
ivory silk.
I love it when Frank gets fashion literate.
It was it was. I love a fashion drawing. You know.
Yes,
those
I
bits.
do. An illustration.
My dad
beautiful.
always said if I moved to London, this is what would happen. Still, I am what I am. I am my own.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were discussing the bootcut jean mere moments ago, and we've received a text, I must tell you. I have very sturdy calves, and a normal trouser that fits my waist appears like leggings. Therefore, bootcut jeans are a must. Dean is more than welcome to inspect if she does not agree.
Ah, filthy creep.
Krug will be provided. Hugs and kisses, Rich in Moseley.
Krog.
I think that's champagne, is it not?
Is it? Mm-hmm. Lovely.
Is it not pronounced
I thought-
Krug? Is it
I thought-
Krug?
I think I'd say Krug.
I thought it was
But
like
no
some
judgment.
sort of compound word for hog, something and hog, like Jedward.
Kisses, something.
No, I think it would have to be KR, wouldn't it? It'd have to be
think it might-
crisps and hogs.
Right, yeah.
You know, crisps and hogs parties. You must have been to that.
Yeah, loads of them.
I don't care, Rich, about the Krug. I don't care about anything. Boot cuts are still unacceptable.
Yeah, but if this could be, we could be talking elephantitis here. Have a bit of sympathy.
For the record, Rich, I've got calf envy.
If he sends another text that just says, we're all going to feel pretty bad about it.
I'd love big calf muscles.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd love
Oh,
it.
Right,
no,
we've got a
I
query.
don't like a big calf.
I get calf envy and beard envy. They're my two big bits of envy.
Oh.
I have no envy.
So why are you looking at me when you say that? Frank765 has a question for you.
Yes?
Hi,
I
Frank.
love a quiz.
Hi, Frank and A&E. Well, it's more about your life, as if you were being interviewed. Which audiobook has Frank decided to listen to this week? I'm actually reading The Casual Vacancy by JKR, and it's brilliant, despite the reviews.
Well, I suppose, like many of us, I'm listening to the exegesis of Philip K. Dick at the moment.
Yeah.
About a series of dreams that Philip K. Dick, the sci-fi writer, had. In
Frank
which,
loves sci-fi.
For example, an enormous book appeared to him, and he spent night after night trying to work out what the book was until he could get to the real one and stuff like that. And he had images of one modern art picture flashing up after the next.
Are you hoping
loving
that,
it.
are
I'm
you
loving
hoping
it.
that it'll unlock your strange dream that you had, whatever it was the other day?
It's unlocking something. I'm loving it. I'd recommend it. It's about 58 hours of audiobook.
Ooh.
I haven't got that many.
Hey, this is...
I haven't got that many in me.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, what else?
What else? Well, we're still in email corner, technically.
Are we?
Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, how are you doing? I am a Japanese female. Not me, I'm reading an email. Listening to the
Again,
podcast...
David Williams' character.
That was rhyming then. Is he rapping now? A Japanese female, not me, I'm reading an email.
Listening to the podcast on my way to work on Monday morning. I love the show very much, enjoying the combination of your talks. Actually, it's hard to stop giggling in front of people who do not know what I'm listening to.
I bet she does
Well-
that. You know that thing that Japanese girls do when they giggle? They put their hand in front of their mouth.
yeah.
Oh, I
She
like
does
that.
Well, in the last show, you all talked about Japan. It was really nice to hear, though
Yeah, I
I'm
was very
sorry.
nice about it.
Me too.
Oh, I was awful about
I am
it.
sorry to
were.
hear that Emily doesn't like my country.
Oh, I think you've worn the wrong tropical shirt. That's what's happened.
However, I think she may come to like Japan once she knows this. She must have been on a diet. That was OMG, I suppose. How's it going?
Yeah, we should say, new listeners,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know who you are, mate. That Emily has been... Are you still on the OMG?
Yes,
Right.
although it's far less strict than it was.
It says, do you still blow 20 balloons every other day?
How
Yes, that
dare
is
you.
part of it. Yes, no, not baboons, balloons.
Oh my God!
It was a wildlife.
I told
point.
you that in secrecy. You said it was in the vault.
Anyway,
It was in the vault.
keep going, Alan.
What were the baboons doing in the vault? Anyway, here we have so-called long breath diets. You take a long breath, 3-second inhale and 7-second exhale. This works for your inner muscles. This 10-second is 1 set. Then you do 6 sets with 2 different positions. You have to do the 2 minutes exercise.
This is a diet that's just about breathing.
Yeah.
You have to do 2 minutes exercise 6 times a day. Then you lose weight with no restriction of what you eat. No iPhone-sized food. Good, isn't it?
And very simple is the great thing about it. It's not
It does
complicated.
sound-
What does that mean, no iPhone-sized food?
Because
Well,
they're on
we're talking
OMG,
about- Yeah.
your portions are measured in iPhone sizes. So you have two
Kidding me.
2 iPhones worth of carbohydrates if you're going through that, or 2 iPhones worth of lettuce or whatever.
Could you, would you be allowed
Lettuce.
to, would you be allowed to fold a American hot pizza?
Let's try it later.
Oh, I love pizza.
Yes, we all. Well, who doesn't?
I'm glad we've
that's the next
established that you all
text
like
thing.
pizza.
The end of the email is P.S. Alan, when you come into Japan next time, I would love to see your gig. Love, K.O.
Kayo?
Bye.
Could I just take this
Kayo?
opportunity to formally apologise to the Japanese? I've offended them.
I don't think you've offended them all.
No.
Just
but I
Kayo.
make a formal retraction.
KO still sounds
Oh.
pretty friendly. I'm absolutely fascinated by the... especially it's a Japanese thing, breathing. As you know, I once tried to live by the code of the samurai.
Did you?
And I did, yeah. And one of the things is that you have to make every decision within the space of 7 breaths. That's one of their...
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's apparently why FIFA have held back bringing in goal line technology. Because there isn't the time. No, but so I tried living like that. Every decision I made, 7 breaths. Oh man, I wore some terrible outfits.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I don't know if I've actually said your 2 names today. It stuck to me. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. I'm terribly sorry. I just presume people know. But of course,
your colleagues.
We've got, whole clusters of new listeners joining us every second.
What would you call us? Colleagues, sidekicks? When you're
Frank
speaking
doesn't
to
like
other people,
Frank doesn't like sidekicks.
I find derogatory.
when you're speaking to other people, do you say, "Yeah, I've got these wacky sidekicks on my"?
I like zoo.
On my radio show.
Derogatory.
My zoo radio.
I prefer my bitches. Hold on, I'm just doing my diet. That's another stone lost. I'm fascinated by the Japanese breathing diet. I'm going to bring out... what about the whistling diet, Frank Skinner?
Oh, you're a good whistler, aren't
That'd
you?
be brilliant, wouldn't it? You can lose a
high
stone.
notes, though, don't you?
I say you
Frank,
could
if
lose...
you did a diet book, I would love that.
You would if it was a whistle. If I claimed that whistling, but somebody would believe it. You could lose. You have to
Me,
do...
probably.
Yeah. Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, all the way through. You could lose half a stone. It's dropping off me.
Yeah, so are the listeners.
I like to clear them out in case they've come in for the news.
Oh, yeah. Top of the hour.
I like to
do the
test
filter
them early.
Well, I have a little recollection that I'd like to...
that was a second of tension there. It's ruined my diet. I stopped breathing altogether.
I wanted to ask Emily Dean's verdict on a story.
Oh, lovely.
I worked on television's Mock... I don't want your verdict on that. The Mock the Week the other night.
Lovely.
On my way out...
So proud.
Do you know what I am?
Don't.
It's like when you watch your son shave for the first time. When Alan says stuff like that.
Don't do this. I've been on it 5 times in 5 years. So I'm a Mock the Week regular in the same way as Santa is a regular visitor to my house. But I bumped into TV's Frank Skinner in the car park as I was about to get into
you two
a
have been
taxi.
mixing.
It was very odd 'cause it was a really busy car park. There's loads of cars.
Can I just picture the scene? Are we at TV Centre?
We are at
In the
TV
donuts.
Centre.
Yeah.
It was very, very glamorous indeed. Yeah, we were at the at TV Centre. We bumped it. It was a bit like Roger and Cobby Broccoli playing backgammon.
Oh, you didn't
I'm
say I will kill
standing there.
you. Get back inside.
You had a suit bag as well.
That's so glamorous.
Yes, I did. I had a suit bag.
Did you have
at
it
the buildings.
over your forearm like Roy Hodgson?
No.
Okay.
I think
It
you
was
had
in
it
a-
slung over your back.
It was
didn't you?
no, it was a suitcase type,
Oh, I
suit
get it.
bag.
I get it.
Anyway, let's not get distracted.
Okay.
I want to know your verdict on what took place, because I suspect you will be mortified. I bump into Frank, and
I'm already a bit mortified.
he's with 2 gentlemen.
Okay, I
and
don't like
he's-
the way this is going.
One of them holding a big bunch of flowers. He said, "Oh, these are the guys from Room 101. And I've just done that." I said, "Yeah, hello." I'm shaking their hands, and he went, "I keep telling them that they should book you for it, but they won't have you."
Oh my
I
god!
don't know why I brought that up.
Ew.
They went, "Oh, cheers, Frank." That's a way to start a conversation.
Yeah.
I start laughing and say, "Yeah, I'm aware of that." Cheers.
You said I am aware of the food chain.
I said I'm very aware of where I am in the food chain.
Worst conversation 2 human beings have ever had.
I don't know why I brought that up.
Well, they were absolutely mortified, I felt. And,
Well, after you left,
you
one
and
of
I
them-
seemed fine with it.
Yeah, after you left, one of them turned to me and said, "That went well." Oh no, it was. I don't know. I went a bit name and shame.
It really felt like I saw a flicker of delight in your eyes before you said it as well. I'm sure. Maybe I've been replaying.
Whenever I introduce 2 people, I like to weld them together with a fact.
I'm
that was the only one
speechless.
I had at
I
my-
feel so sickened.
Oh, I had an even worse thing that night.
Worse than that?
Oh no. I don't know
tell
what it
us.
is.
What did you do?
No, I felt terrible.
So you've got to tell us what you did. Is it?
I might tell you off air. Is that fair? Oh, well, hold on.
Frank
Frank Skinner,
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Absolute Radio.
Well, I'll tell you this, but I do feel bad about it. I'm not. Sometimes you say something, and afterwards you think, no, I shouldn't have said that, and you beat yourself up. So it's like, so I was on a show with Clive Anderson, and he said something to me, which was it was a bit of a leg pull thing. And he was he was on Room 101, and he was putting in people who buy tickets for things in advance. He's a champion of spontaneity. And I just felt bad now even telling this, but anyway, I said to him, he said something to me, like a sort of a leg pull, and I said, yeah, well, I buy tickets so far in advance, I've actually got tickets for your next TV appearance. And the audience, no one laughed, the audience just went, whoa.
Oh, and, what did he do?
Did
he raise his neck out of his little collar?
No, he said something like, well, I'm on tomorrow night. And,
but which channel?
Well, anyway.
Let's be honest about this.
No, it's on Channel 4. It's all.
Channel 5,
I just felt, but sometimes you say they come out these things. I think it's to do with getting old. You know, when older people like Michael Parkinson they just start criticising.
I think you're being hard on yourself. If he gave you a leg pull, you can give him a leg pull, and so it continues.
I thought mine was. I don't know. I thought it was too much. Anyway, I felt bad. I lay awake thinking about it.
That's not your fault. You're a superior marksman.
No, but
why did
I even reach for my weapon?
That's what I said to the baboon.
I think as you get older, it's like a very, very slow version of the alien coming out of John Hurt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that that's like grumpy old spiteful nasty monster starts to climb out of your greying in concave chest. Shall we talk about something else?
Yeah. Well, actually, we've just had a text in, which is rather confusing, Frank.
Okay.
This is from Martin Ashman. He says, "Hi, Phil. Just found your show on my computer. Might I say, what a show. Keep it up."
Thanks very much.
Thanks for the praise.
Let's not be held back by details.
No.
The irony that we refuse to read out lots of praise on this show, but the bit that we have read out is addressed to somebody else.
Well, I don't mind reading out a bit of praise for Phil. Perhaps he was praising Philip K. Dick's The Exegesis of Philip K. Dick.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Or maybe he thinks it's Phil Jupiter's.
Phil storming this show, whoever Phil is.
Frank, I have to say, there was a site this week that got me rather hot under the collar.
Oh, yeah.
Under the Clive Anderson collar.
Right.
Did you see, if you were driving around the streets, who would you most like to see in their underpants? Actually, this isn't relevant to you at all. You wouldn't enjoy this site.
Who would I most like to see in
their underpants?
That's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think...
Don't say something filthy.
The Duke of Edinburgh?
Alan?
I can't help but think that I'll say something filthy. I think I might have to...
I can see it in your eyes.
Plead the fifth.
It's David Beckham, Frank.
Oh yeah, well, okay. I did see. I saw these pictures of David Beckham. Yeah, I have to say.
What? He was filming an ad, wasn't he?
He looked very, very
in his own
well.
home, in the grounds of his own home.
Well, they were doing one of those LA bus tours, you know.
When you look at the stars' homes, and he was in his garden being filmed for an underpants ad.
Yeah.
Sounds odd, I know. I wondered if the whole thing was staged.
Well, I know what you mean,
you?
Frank. But what I liked is, because the pants were sort of khaki/camo, almost in colour, he looked a bit Peter the Wild. He looked a bit feral, because he also might have had a shoe and a pant on.
And of course, he looks like he's got quite a lot of ink.
He is inky.
He looks like... I imagine when they're at home at night, him and Victoria, he sleeps across her lap and she just doodles like on a phone pad. There was a couple of phone numbers and a rattled down recipe just above the nipple. No, I think that spoilt it for me, because I don't mind the tattoo, but they're haphazard.
I liked he had an air of vulnerability about him as he ran through the undergrowth,
as
which
all
I
men
quite
do
liked.
in their
So I liked the fact that in the article he said that he likes tight boxer
Tighty
shorts.
whities.
Tighty whities. But he also said, I wear boxer shorts as well, but I also like tighty whities for sport. And I'm the same. I wear boxer shorts.
Oh, God.
For physical exercise, I like to be held.
Oh, Frank.
Oh, I don't know where to look.
It's a fact.
Just a minute.
It's a fact. I just feel like me and Beckham have got more in common, having read that article. Context is all, though, isn't it?
It's coming down my nose.
Context is all. David Beckham says he likes tighty whities. That's fine. John Terry, not so fine. Awkward, isn't it? Different. Saggy pants.
I'm just going to wait for ages. I don't see why I should rescue him.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're talking about David Beckham in his underpants, and I've got, this is a serious theory. There's a shot of him where he's behind, looked absolutely remarkable.
Yes.
I mean,
I'll drink to that.
Is derriere?
It looked absolutely remarkable, and I suspect, because I've seen him in, shorts and various things before, I think there's been a noted improvement. I think he might be wearing a bomber sister. I should explain a bomber sister.
I actually employ one of those.
Yes, a bomber sister is padded. It's not a thing like grab a granny.
Yeah.
I thought it was someone's sister.
Really? Is that what you think, Frank?
No, yes, I'm serious. Have you ever seen...
it's not out of the question. By no means is it out of the question.
No, it isn't, because...
Or he could have had work done.
No. He hasn't had work done.
He could have had his derriere done. You know,
have you ever seen...
people get those peck implants, don't they?
I don't think you go that far, but you must have seen... There's a pair of pants, men's pants, and there are pouches at the rear and front for such assistance.
For such assistance?
Yes.
Are you sure they're not pockets?
No, they're I know that because you can buy... I was looking at what they're called jackpots.
Oh.
I don't know why. I suppose one has hit the jackpot, metaphorically, with them.
Yeah.
But you put foam padding in at the front or rear, or both, to make you look better. And also...
That won't breathe easily.
For an extra few quid, you can have silicone instead of foam, as it says, so that even grabbers won't be fooled.
Wow.
I like grabbers.
Yeah?
Oh, I hope he hasn't done that.
I honestly think I know I'm not just being light-hearted
Really?
now for radio purposes. I honestly think he might be wearing a bomber sister.
The terrain did look smooth,
Yes.
I felt. Frank, we've had a text in, actually, saying, Frank, my dad has still got a pair of Y-fronts. My mum bought him from Marks and Sparks before I was born. I was born in 1976. How's that for thrift, Hazel?
Well, is he wearing them, or are they framed?
I'm assuming he's wearing them.
I must admit, some of mine. I mean, as I've said, I've had a bit of a cold lately because the elastic just got ridiculous.
I mean, if I had white fronts like that, if they'd gone, then I'd wear them for day wear and keep a nice tight pair for sport and athletic.
Well, I'm just trying to think. I'm going to ask Kath if she'd consider sewing some belt loops onto them. And I could wear them with a... Why not? Why not have a belt on your pants? Why do we have to rely on elastic for underwear?
That's a good point. You were after a shirt with a tie-up thing for a while,
Right.
weren't you?
Don't wear pants that are 35 years old. Please don't.
Could you get braces for your pants?
That'd be good.
That would be fabulous. If you pulled them really tight, it'd be like a mankini.
Yeah.
And that'd look lovely.
There must be a way of getting a vest that sort of fixes onto
It's
your
true, though.
pants.
Why do we absolutely insist on elastic? You never see a bottom waist. You never...
Because you need a nice line. Otherwise, you'll get terrible button marks popping
If like
through.
me, you do a lot
Belts.
of... I do a lot of semi-nude modelling. And I find the elastic line, when you arrive at the shoot, you have to take the pants off straight away to let the elastic, and your socks, to let the elastic line calm down. If I had braces,
Calm down.
that wouldn't be a...
You could arrive a bit later.
Yeah. it wouldn't
5
be-
minutes more at home. It's all important.
It
isn't
wouldn't. It wouldn't be a problem. I hate that. I do. When you're kicking your heels around an underground photo studio, waiting for your sock marks to disappear. It's one of the worst things. What a waste of time it is. And there's never any good reading material.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So after I made the appearance on the topical comedy programme Mock the Week, there was a story this week that Ed Miliband did his Labour Party conference speech off by heart. Knew the whole thing. 6,500 words. apparently.
You see that? So DC goes for the old full bladder trick, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
he
heard, you
loves
told
that.
me about that.
Yeah.
Filthy creep. But Ed Miliband, apparently, he learned it off by heart, but also he did it in sections, which was quite clever. He said he only
Into-
practiced it 5 or 6 times. Don't believe that for a minute.
Yeah,
It's a
chinny recon.
65-minute speech. Can you imagine? I mean, I although I vote Labour myself, the idea of listening to Ed Miliband speak for 65 minutes is beyond my capacities. I suspect he actually learnt about 10 minutes, knowing that for the next 55 nobody would be listening, he could just say anything he liked. He probably whistled Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds. No, but it would be on. It sounds. Honestly, it makes my shoulders go tense. The idea of having to sit there for that long.
Yeah.
And listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my touring show is about 80 minutes, 90 minutes, and it's probably got the same number of laughs, to be fair.
Oh, come on!
Ah.
don't
I just say-
don't let Room 101 selection process drag you down.
Hilary DeVay
Can
before Alan Cochrane. Honestly.
Are you when you see Ed Miliband on telly? Are you smelling aftershave or?
No.
I have to say, I'm smelling bad breath.
Oh,
I've never met him, but I am. I
think that's probably true of Gideon Osborne, George Osborne.
I'm smelling
I
a sort
bet
of...
he's got a...
I'm smelling a Tesco deodorant with a slight musky undertone.
I find bad breath now is an ever more common thing.
Right.
I'm being confronted by. I'm trying to find a way of.
What
You're
do you
looking
do?
directly at me as you say this. That's not really fair.
I can honestly say there's no one in this room I've experienced it from.
Awkward.
Frank, can I just say...
But just so the foams off these microphones are going straight into the washing machine. Sorry,
You have a very impressive, I'm going to call it OBH, off by heart, back catalogue.
Yeah.
what, of knowing things off by heart?
Yes, you're brilliant
Yeah.
at it.
Thanks. Well, as your eyesight goes, you have to fall back on it. I'm going to play some music, but we'll come back to off by heart because I think it is a dying. It's a dying technique.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
033 has texted in saying, Frank, I bet Ed Miliband smells of surgical spirit. Don't know
Do you
why.
think so?
Don't know why.
I know there's something wrong there. I really would like to know now. If anyone's met Ed Miliband,
What
please
does-
tell us what he smells of.
I think it might be slightly medical, though. I would.
Yes, I
you
think
know,
he's got a medical whiff.
maybe deep heat or something like that. Something a bit.
A bit of Vic, maybe, to help.
Yes.
Oh, Tiger Balm. I smell Tiger Balm.
No, but you know he's got that sort of...
Yeah,
Oh,
the Tiger
yeah.
Balm would clear that.
A bit of Vic on the chest, like footballers
Oh,
do.
God.
Or a raver.
Pardon?
A raver. Remember raves? Raves?
Yes, I remember raves.
I
Raving.
thought we'd gone into libel.
Frank. So I was
Yeah,
saying
nobody
earlier,
learns anything off by
but
heart
you know
anymore,
a
do they?
lot because I was quite shocked when I came here, and I've heard the old mic tests before. Frank does
Yeah.
the sound check, and Frank says he launches into some Wordsworth poem. It's extraordinary.
Well, we were encouraged at school to learn stuff off by heart, but I don't think opening of Richard III. You don't want me to do it now, obviously. I'll do a little bit.
But you know it.
I like that we didn't have a choice there.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarums turned to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war has smoothed his wrinkled front. Yes, this is Absolute Radio. Get over it. But now you might meet a young person who can do the crazy frog. That's as good as it's going to get.
Can I confirm that there was no paper involved in that?
Thank you so much for that.
And that was very impressive.
Well, there's more, but I thought I'd already pushed it as far as it would
I'll
go.
show you my Prince Hal later.
I didn't go as far as dive thoughts down to my heart's here Clarence comes. And then I have to start doing the other characters, and people do start leaving.
That gets a bit 70s impressionist.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I turn round and moss up my hair, and I come back, and guess what? I'm the Duke of Buckingham. So, I think we're near the end now. Mark Crossley is next, and that's just about all. It's been strangely odd sort of a show, I think.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Strangely odd.
I've got a bit of a tingle. You know that people walking over your grave tingle? I've got that from it. But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
What a weird way to end the show.
Yeah, it might just be. I might just be having a reaction to the brute. I used this week.
Maybe that's what it is.
So if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. We look forward to that. We love you all. Goodbye.
This is
Frank Skinner